matches they're faking. Belt on the line, dreams on display. The EVP show keeps the drama in play. Let's go, let's go, where the heroes rise and the legends grow. CJP brings the shots, you know. The EVP show is out of control.
What is going on, everyone? It's the EVP from the EVP show, and I am back. Oh, it's been a long day. We have finally gotten to Friday, and it is my first Smackdown recap to be back in 8 weeks. I am still trying to figure out what the issues are with X. And so I'm hoping to have that resolved tomorrow. I've been on the phone with them a lot today. We're not on the phone, but chatting with them on the on their little bot or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it's figured out. But tomorrow. So yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully next week we won't have to worry about this anymore. So I won't have to just depend on Facebook and YouTube. I will be back on all 3 platforms starting next week. So, but we are live on the EVP show on YouTube, and we are live also on my Facebook. So welcome everybody. Before we get started, you can see where you can find me at the bottom of the screen on all the platforms. Obviously, on X, you can find me at the EVPCJP, Instagram at EVPCJP, and most importantly, you can find me at the EVP show on YouTube. So, tonight, we are a little over a week away from Survivor Series. And so a lot of things going on. We got 2 matches left in the first round of the Last Time Is Now John Cena tournament to see who's going to go on to face John Cena. We finally got a bracket tonight. Obviously, before we get started, it's a little bit of an injury update. Sheamus has suffered somewhat. I'm assuming it's a shoulder injury. It was reported as a shoulder injury. What's going on, boss man? There is the CEO of DWE Miami the Great, my PIC partner in crime. What's going on, brother? I believe it was a shoulder injury for Sheamus. I hate that. The thing is, I don't know if it's kayfabe. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's fake. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's just somebody else they're trying to get into the tournament. Because, let's face it, like, the tournament's been okay, but it's... after seeing the brackets tonight, and I'm going to start off with that before... Well, yeah, I'll just start off with that. After seeing the brackets tonight, we've had a couple of, Zack Ryder. That was a big surprise. It's good to see him. Obviously, it looks like that was a one-off. Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, he's obviously with TNA. So that definitely was a one-off as well. Obviously, it was a great match, but at the end of the day, the bracket going forward right now, so on the left side of the bracket, I'm not going to reveal the winners of the SmackDown matches because they are on the right side. But on the left side of the bracket right now, we have in the quarterfinals starting, I'm assuming either next week or, got to be starting next week. Jey Uso going up against Rusev is going to be on the top half of that quarterfinal bracket, which I really think we probably see a Jey Uso win right there. But right under him is LA. It was supposed to be LA Knight and Sheamus, but somebody will be taking Sheamus's place. So it's really kind of shaping up to looking to me like an LA Knight Jey Uso semifinal over there on the left side of that bracket. And then obviously there's two people that won Monday night. One of them, my pick to win the whole tournament. It's been my pick for over a month. I'm not wavering away from it. You have Gunther on the top half of the right side of the bracket, who is going to face the winner of the Carmelo Hayes Bronson Reed match tonight. And then at the bottom of the bracket, you have Solo Sikoa, who's pretty much got his hands tied up in a lot of stuff right now with Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Ray Phoenix, and then the Motor City Machine Guns, which I'll go into that. It looks like we're going to have a traditional 5-on-5 tag team Survivor Series match next week on the Go Home show to Survivor Series. So it's shaping up to be next week's going to be epic week. But let's get the show on the road. Welcome everybody to the SmackDown recap. I'm glad to be back. It's my first like I said, my first SmackDown recap back in 8 weeks. But rest assured, next week I'm gonna have my X sorted out. It says tomorrow. The last email I received for them, so I will be back and restored with everything with the StreamYard. It's something going on with the StreamYard and X thing. But it's going to be fixed tomorrow. So next week, guys, we'll be back streaming on my YouTube, X, and Facebook. For now, we're just on my on my Facebook and YouTube. So. I do apologize this week for the inconvenience of not having X, but next week is a big week anyway. So obviously the SmackDown recap tonight. SmackDown is coming from the Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado. Your announcers for tonight is Michael Cole and Corey Graves. The ring announcer for tonight is Mark Nash. And we have, that's who we have in the back. So we're doing the ring announcing. So tonight's WWE SmackDown, the show basically starts off, you see the Judgment Day, Finn Balor. Basically, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what we're going to see. We're going to see him take on Penta, and one of the final first round matches in the last time is now tournament, and also Carmelo Hayes will face the Tribal Thief, Big Bronson Reed, in the last time is now first round match. So yeah. So the show basically opens up with commentary, welcoming everyone, as Charlotte Flair looking like the queen as always, my queen Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss. They show them two walking into the arena. Also, the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and JD McDonough arrive as Finn is getting prepared for his one-on-one match with Penta tonight. We also see Penta arrive as well as the Vision, as the build to War Games continued. And I was just talking to Miami about this earlier on text messaging, and I can't remember a War Games even going back to the old days when we had a traditional 5-on-5. Like the men's and the women's War Games is absolutely stacked this year. WWE, since going over to ESPN, has made it very apparent that they want the men's and the women's side of this Survivor Series War Games match to be just completely loaded with talent. The men's is like the who's who right now. Top notch. You got Cody, Roman, Punk on one side. That's just second time we're going to see Cody Rhodes team up with Roman Reigns. So I'm sure a lot of the Bloodline fans are not very pleased about that, but he's a babyface now, so they both have the same issues with the vision. So yeah, it's just gonna have to deal with it at that, I guess, at that point. We get a video package looking back at Drew McIntyre making a statement last week, revealing basically that he has joined the Visions team for War Games. We also get a look at the chaos that closed Monday Night Raw this past Monday, featuring the return of the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, and the OTC1 himself, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, who came out there and was the only one that was able to fend off Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar cleaned house of CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. Roman hit him with a Superman punch, and then Bronson came up from behind and got the upper hand for a minute, but Roman rebounded and ended up Superman punching Bronson Reed. And then the New York City Police Department ended up getting involved, and Roman speared Bronson Reed through the barrier. So we're looking at a crazy War Games match. Shout out to Greg. What's going on, Greg? Good to see you tonight. If you guys, I wasn't able to get. I was trying to figure out if X was going to work tonight. I wasn't able to send you guys the tweet that I was live. So obviously, I don't know if you guys will retweet it. If you can, be great. But X, I will be back up on X tomorrow. It is a StreamYard to X thing. So that's what's going on with that. But what's going on, Greg? Sorry about obviously we promoted X tonight, but it's just not gonna happen. I'll be back on X starting Monday with the Raw recap. So we'll get a video package. Like I said, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Yeah, basically just showing who we got the 5-on-5 matchup set there. So we start off SmackDown with Paul Heyman is in the ring with Brian Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul. Funny thing that was kind of brought to my attention, I didn't notice it when I was watching it live, is that Logan Paul had, he kind of went back to the Rock, the Final Bosses, one of his old things. He had the promo written on his freaking hand, man. I'm like, how did I not see that? It's just wild that he had a promo written on his hand. Paul Heyman introduces himself before saying he has a vision for War Games, something he will impose upon each and every one of us. Heyman then says at War Games, 5 of your heroes, 5 main event superstars will be locked in a double cage with the likes of Brian Breaker, Bronson Reed, and the Maverick himself, Logan Paul. Heyman then hypes up each man before handing the microphone to Logan Paul. Obviously, Logan Paul, with the script written on his hand, has his hand out like this. Well, you guys can't see my hand, but when he did like that, you can see it was written on his hand. Funny. Logan Paul, mega heel heat. They absolutely hate Logan Paul. A lot of heel heat for Logan. Logan Paul tells the crowd to shut up because he has a lot to say. Paul then says he has 5 things, and the first thing is, and then at that point we hear Jey Uso's entrance music. So I had a feeling this was going to happen. Like I said, we're 8 days away from War Games. It's time to really ramp up the storyline. Obviously, we didn't get Brock Lesnar tonight. We didn't get CM Punk, and we didn't get Roman Reigns tonight. But Cody Rhodes played a big role tonight. His promo later on in the night was crazy good. I mean, he absolutely cooked. Like him or not, he cooked tonight on the mic. I mean, he told Paul Heyman, I figured out what my story is with you is with all those people on that WrestleMania when they're sitting at the poker table, you had a hand in making all of them, and I just beat all of them. Talking about CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns, but that goes back to what I was talking about Monday when I really think that I think Drew McIntyre is going to be the one to take the title off CM Punk at some point. And they announced it tonight during SmackDown. The Elimination Chamber is going to be in Chicago, Illinois, CM Punk's hometown. Cody told Paul he beat all of his guys, but he hasn't. He hasn't beat CM Punk yet. So could we see CM Punk win the Elimination Chamber and face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania? Or are they going to continue this Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes stuff? I don't think Drew's beating Cody. I mean, storyline-wise, I guess it would make sense. They've wrestled 3 times or 2 or 3 times. But Nick Aldis has made it apparent he does not want Drew McIntyre on SmackDown. He said it again tonight. But yeah, that was crazy. So Jimmy and Jay, they interrupt. They make their way out. A huge pop from the crowd. Jay then tells Logan Paul nobody wants to hear what he has to say. Jay then says that they took care. Jay tells Paul Heyman, he said, "OG, what you out here yapping about tonight? Like, we took care of your whole crew on Monday night." Heyman says that they pissed off Logan Paul. He then says when he created the bloodline, he did it so the family could eat instead of Jay and Jimmy living off of Roman Reigns. That was quite a statement right there by the Oracle, Paul Heyman. He then says that the numbers game always wins, and that's something that he said he installed upon Jimmy and Jay and Roman during the Bloodline days about the numbers game. He then counts, and he points out that there are 4 people in the ring to just the 2 of Jimmy and Jay. He says they are outnumbered, and they will either get their asses whooped or they're just really stupid. Yeah. So at that point we knew somebody else was coming out. Jimmy then says that they learned from the best and they were not going to show up alone. At that point in time, yeah, I'm gonna do it for just a second because I can. At that point in time, we hear. We hear the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, come out. Music hits, but he does not come out. We then see Drew McIntyre walk out of Cody Rhodes' bus, and Cody is absolutely bloody. Like he's laid out, like head down, like on the steps. Like his eyes all blacked up right here and like bruised up and blood. Like it just looks like looks bad. It looks really bad. At first I'm like, oh my God, are they writing Cody off? Like, is LA Knight going to take a spot? But obviously, no. Cody was not going to go out like that. You can see Jimmy and Jay, they run to the back of the bus to check on Cody Rhodes. Officials make their way out there as well as Cody looks pretty much lifeless at that time. Drew McIntyre is absolutely out of control. We then see officials and the Usos still checking on Cody as Cody is still trying to regain consciousness. So it looks like Drew knocked him unconscious, basically. Drew then drives by and says, "See you at War Games, champ," before driving off laughing. And Corey Graves explained that Drew did nothing wrong since he never entered the arena. So basically that was what Nick Aldis was talking to Paul Heyman about, is he doesn't, the suspension still stands as far as like that. He doesn't want Drew McIntyre on SmackDown. He said, "You guys can do what you got to do." They're going to do a War Games because you maneuver the situation, but you're still banned from SmackDown. So, the suspension still stands for SmackDown. So they're still really, playing up the Drew's suspension of on SmackDown. But he never entered the building. So it's technically like Paul's correct. Like he never really entered the building. So the first match we have is the something that's been going on for quite a while now. And it's going to be the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov. He's been having a U.S. Open, not U.S. Men's U.S. title open challenge, similar to what Sami Zayn did before that every week. He makes his way down to the ring. It's going to be the first match of the night tonight. And we find out that the one that will be answering his challenge is no other than JD McCrispy or JD McNugget or JD McFly or JD McFlurry or just JD McDonough. JD and Dragunov, they have a lot of history. They had several matches back in the Indies together. They split their matches in NXT, and also Dragunov also caused McDonough an eye injury back in NXT. So the match starts off with both men locking up. JD hits a forearm on the break. Dragunov then hits a boot to the head. They exchange forearms. Dragunov hits an enziguri, then cinches in a waist lock, and JD hits some back elbows to escape. McDonough then hits a knee to block a suplex. Dragunov then blocks a suplex. McDonough chops Dragunov and sends Dragunov's throat first into the ropes, and Ilya Dragunov goes to the floor. The referee then checks on Dragunov on the floor. JD then sends Dragunov into the ringside barrier. JD then gets a near fall when they return to the ring. There was a lot of near falls. This match was a banger. I knew it was going to be a banger once I saw he was facing Dragunov. Both of them can go. McDonough's great in the ring. Dragunov's great. There was some really – I made some comments earlier about how SmackDown needs a facelift. It wasn't Raw. It wasn't a 10 out of 10. It's probably like a 7. But wrestling matches wise, like Raw had some solid matches tonight. Compared to Raw had some good matches Monday as well, but I think that's what's been kind of lacking on SmackDown. Obviously, we didn't get to see the Chelsea Green segment play out. She was obviously under the weather. And also, before I continue, next week SmackDown is being taped, so it's being taped as we speak. So if you don't want to know what's going to happen, I tell all the crybabies and all the little whiny asses that's in the GC chats that wants to block me and tell me I don't want to hear anything and you're on the wrong app. This is 2026. There's reporters out there everywhere. I have a source. There's everybody that's into this content creator has some sort of somebody that knows somebody. So if you don't like it, then stay off of X. That's just the way it is, and especially in my own Twitter chat. I'm gonna post what I want in there. People starting up in there early this morning, and I had to, kind of set that straight. But it was a banger tonight with these two. McDonough goes for a backbreaker, but Dragunov blocks it, avoids an enziguri, and hits a running leg drop. JD then hits an Irish whip that sends Dragunov face first into the turnbuckle. Then we see a forearm and another near fall. Dragunov then hits some chops, and JD slaps Dragunov. Dragunov then hits a European uppercut. JD then hit some Kawada kicks. I don't know. I think that's how you pronounce it. And Dragunov hits a chop. JD then hits a chop, and Isla hit. Dragunov hits a back fist and a Constantine special. Dragunov hits chops, and JD hits some forearms. I mean, it's back and forth with these guys. Both men go back and forth constantly with strikes. Dragunov hits a German suplex, and he holds on. And he hits a second German suplex and holds on. He hits some elbows to the back and to the clavicle. Dragunov then hits a wrist clutch gut wrench suplex. That's quite the tongue twister there of a move. JD then hits a standing switch and counters the Constantine special with a Spanish fly, and JD gets a near fall. That one was really close. I thought just for a second we could be seeing JD McDonough is still going for his first singles title, men's singles title in WWE. I thought he had it right there, but just a little short. JD then suplexes Isla over the top rope. Dragunov holds on, so both men go to the floor. JD then sends Dragunov into the announce desk before returning to the ring. Dragunov barely beats the count. JD then cinches in a seated abdominal stretch. Dragunov hits some forearms and a hip lock takedown. JD then stomps on the hand and kicks Dragunov in the chest. JD then hits a suplex and goes to the turnbuckle. Dragunov then stops JD and he crotches him. Wow, that sounds very crotchy. Dragunov then hits a suplex and rolls through, but JD grabs the hair and JD hits a brainbuster for a near fall. They go back and forth for a while. JD does end up hitting the moonsault again off the top rope for about a 2 3/4, 2.78, almost winning that United States title. But Dragunov hits some headbutts, then goes for a power bomb. JD escapes, hits a headbutt. Dragunov then hits a torpedo Moscow, followed by a power bomb and a H bomb for the 1, 2, 3, and still your United States champion, Isla the Mad Dragon Dragunov. It was a really good match. He's had the title for a while, so and he's putting on banger after banger. So I'm okay with this. It's doing something with that U.S. title, so I'm happy with it. We then take a look back at the Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley situation. I don't really know where the hell they're going with this. Reports say that maybe they're teasing a Rhea Ripley heel turn. I mean, she's so over with the crowd right now. I never say never. I mean, look, we got Nikki Bella. She's on her. She reports to come out that she, I guess, a happy birthday to her and her sister, Nikki. They're twins. I think today's their birthday. It was reported that she's on her last run. She went heel. John went heel. It's kind of a coincidence there, both of them at the same time. But I mean, anything's possible, I guess, with Rhea Ripley going heel. I don't know what they're gonna do with the situation. Maybe Alexa's the one that actually turns on Charlotte. I don't think we're getting a Charlotte Flair heel turn. They've worked their ass off to get her back to a face and get the fans back behind Charlotte. So I just don't see the Charlotte turn. I think it's gonna have to be Alexa turning on Charlotte or Rhea, one of the two. If that's where they're going with it. Alexa said she's proud of Charlotte. Charlotte then says she only did it for Alexa. Alexa then opens the door, and Io Sky and Rhea Ripley are in there. And Alexa forces Charlotte into the room. Charlotte was not happy about going into that room. Alexa then says they need to have a chat, and Io also leaves. Tensions are high between Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. Charlotte's not even wanting to look at Rhea at this point. Kathy Kelly is now with Nick Aldis in the back to discuss Cody Rhodes' situation. Nick says They are checking on Cody, and they have no updates. Nick then goes up to Paul Heyman and the Vision. Nick says he doesn't know what he has planned, but the only reason Bronson is here is because he has a match and his hands are tied. Nick then says his hands are tied with Drew. Nick then says this is a War Games. It is SmackDown, so Drew is persona non grata, which means he is not allowed in the building. Heyman says he has deep respect for Nick and says Drew is not in the same arena or locker room. Heyman then says he is outside. Heyman says that he asked Drew to leave. Heyman then says he has no reason to have a beef with Nick. Heyman then says Bronson only needs an opponent stupid enough to face him like Carmelo Hayes. So that's the end of that segment. We're kind of setting up for that first round match between Bronson Reed and Carmelo Hayes. I kind of said earlier in the week, I really didn't feel like Bronson was going to win the match, especially when Gunther beat Javon Evans. Because, like I said, on that side of the bracket, the winner of the Carmelo Hayes Bronson Reed match was going to be facing Gunther. That's coming up Monday on Raw. So it just made more sense. It didn't make any sense for Bronson Reed to win this match. With Gunther already being a heel, it would have been dumb as hell to do two heels. So, and then Carmelo, he giving him a win right now. I don't think he beats Gunther. I absolutely do not think he'd beaten Gunther Monday night. I don't at all. There's not one single inch of me that thinks that that's going to happen. I think we're headed for a Gunther Jey Uso or a Gunther whoever this mystery person is, or maybe a Gunther LA Knight final. Is where I think we're headed. So we then see the U.S. champ who just got done with J.D. McDonough walking in the back, and he is told by Tommaso Ciampa that he would be champion if he wasn't dealing with Praxium tonight. The Dragunov then calls him a jackass and walks away. Before that, we saw Tama Tonga come up to Dragunov and say, watch out for him as well. So everybody is wanting. I love how Dragunov is doing this because he has the whole locker room involved. A lot of people are going to be able to get that opportunity to go after that U.S. title. So we get the last match, or the first match in the last round of the Last Time Is Now tournament, which is going to be Carmelo Hayes versus the Vision, the Tribal Thief, Big Bronson Reed, that is accompanied by Paul Heyman. The match starts off with Carmelo Hayes going after Reed with a flurry of offense, sending him to the corner. But it doesn't take long for Reed to fight back with a shoulder tackle, sending Carmelo Hayes to the mat. Hayes then heads to the corner for a breather, but is met with some hard strikes by Bronson. Carmelo Hayes then hits some chops of his own before being sent back to the corner for a stomp by Reed, who brings Carmelo back up to send him to the ropes for another shoulder tackle. Reed then lays into Hayes with some right hands before mocking the crowd with a nod to Roman Reigns doing the one. Bronson still on that one stuff, mocking Roman. And this gives Hayes an opening to take Reed down for a near fall. Carmelo then stays on top of things for another 2 count before forcing Bronson Reed to the outside. Brian Breaker and Logan Paul make their way down to check in on Bronson Reed. So at this point, I'm like, here we go. This is where we're going to get disqualification or something to that nature. But I knew it was going to be like a count out or a DQ or something like that was going to happen. here tonight. With Carmelo getting that win. So Reed has Hayes in the corner, and he cinches in a chin lock and continues the attack with a slam and a 2 count. Carmelo is back on his feet. He hits a thrust kick on Bronson, but Breaker distracts the referee, allowing Logan Paul to trip up Carmelo Hayes' legs, but it's not enough to keep him down as he kicks out and gets a count of cover of 2. Didn't get the whole 3. Reed then goes back to work on Hayes, but Hayes dodges a senton for a roll-up and a 2 count. Carmelo Hayes then hits a running knee and hits the ropes for a clothesline. Reed then takes a boot on the ropes by Hayes, who takes him to the apron with a DDT before climbing up top rope for the infamous frog splash. Carmelo then goes for the cover, but Reed kicks out at 2. Carmelo then heads to the corner looking for the first 48, but Reed counters for a world's strongest slam and a fall forward slam. Reed then goes up top for a tsunami, but Carmelo rolls out of the way. I thought for just a minute when Bronson went up for tsunami, I'm like, well, maybe they are going to do Bronson and Gunther. They're dumb as hell, but because I can't have either one of them get pinned. I don't think. But yeah, for a second I thought Bronson may win the match, but anyway, so he rolls out of the way. Carmelo then hits the first 48 as Bronson rolls to the outside, and then he takes a dive that he completely lands and takes out the entire division. Carmelo then brings Reed back into the ring, climbs up for a DDT to the mat. Hayes then hits his nothing but net finisher and goes for a cover, but Bronson Reed kicks out. Hayes then goes back to the turnbuckle. Hayes then misses Reed and rolls through. Reed then hits a clothesline, and both men are down. Hayes then rolls to the floor, and Reed sets up for the spear, but out comes Jey Uso, and Jey Uso hits a super kick while Logan Paul is distracting the referee. Jimmy Uso and Logan Paul then fight into the crowd. And so you got Jimmy and Logan fighting back to the crowd, and Jay and Brian Breaker. So both of them are out of this match at this point in time. Reed then sends Hayes into the announce desk, and Paul Heyman is still distracting the referee because he doesn't want Bronson to get disqualified. But out of nowhere, the person that they just saw laid out on the bus, and I get all these messages. Oh, is he missing War Games? Is he getting written off of TV? Cody Rhodes out of nowhere sends Bronson Reed into the ring post and hits the crossroads to Bronson Reed. Rhodes then helps Carmelo Hayes back into the ring, and the referee starts his count. Bronson Reed cannot beat the 10 count back into the ring, and the winner by countout and advancing into the quarterfinals on Monday Night Raw to face Gunther on the right side of the bracket is Carmelo Hayes. So we will see on the left side of the bracket, we will see Jey Uso and Rusev, and LA Knight is also on that left side of that bracket with Jay and Rusev. But he's going to go up against a mystery opponent because Sheamus is injured. Now, on the right side of the bracket, the first half of the top is filled in. We will see Gunther going up against Carmelo Hayes Monday night on Raw, which I fully expect Gunther to be victorious in that match. So this is the promo. One of my favorite promos from Cody. It's been speculated, and I've talked about it on Twitter Spaces, and I've talked about it on YouTube videos. Eventually, we got to get this Cody Rhodes heel turn. I mean, there's only so long that the fans and people are going to still just cheer him as being champion. Like, he's showing that aggression, that like he's even cheated a couple of times to win. I mean, this promo for me sounds like that heel Cody it's getting like Drew's like bringing it out of him. Cody says he stands up on the announce desk and he tells Drew McIntyre, he said, "I was done with you, but I'm not done anymore." Cody then looks down at Bronson Reed and he said, "You may be the best out of the bunch, but you won't realize it until you're looking up at the lights." Cody then says, "Where's Brian Breaker? Where's Brian Breaker? Where is he at?" And it says, "Well, Steiner is never better than a Rhodes." He then tells Logan Paul that nobody cares. He says, "Go climb up on your orbit, or whatever you're gonna do. Nobody cares." So yeah, at that point, we got Cody just going off on everybody. Cody then reminds Brock Lesnar that he is the last person to defeat him. He said he beat him twice. Cody then says that Cody then says to Paul Heyman that he builds them and then Cody will beat them. Cody says War Games is not just a match, it is his birthright. So Cody was fired up at that point. Cody then says that he will see you in San Diego, which I felt like was a really good promo right there for Cody. Okay, so we're in the back, and then we see Alba Fire talking to security, and Chelsea Green goes into her locker room. It was also reported Chelsea Green was a little under the weather tonight, so I think she was supposed to have some sort of celebration, but it was scrapped due to that. Kiana James shows up and says she wants to know where Chelsea is, but Alba says she doesn't know. Chelsea then says things are not right, so it might not be time for the celebration. She then says the fans deserve the best celebration, and she wants Alba to reschedule, which, as I said, it was reported to me that Chelsea was under the weather. And obviously it's a double taping, and Chelsea's also having a flight to Mexico. So Jay Cargill then tells Chelsea Green, says that she is the greatest champion again, so she can show her what a real champion looks like. Jay Cargill with a brief segment backstage. Chelsea then says she remembers that she has a thing and she runs away. And that's the last we hear of that. We then head to another backstage segment where we see Sami Zayn. He said he tells his team that the MFTs have targeted them every week, but now they are united. Sami then says they are shoulder to shoulder and we are looking at an international coalition. Sami then says there are 5 of the best from all over the planet. Sami says they are one of the best tag teams over the last 2 decades, which he's talking about Motor City Machine Guns, Shinsuke Nakamura himself, and Ray Phoenix. Alex Shelley from Motor City Machine Gun says you mess with him, but if you mess with him, you mess with all of them. Chris Sabin, the other part of Motor City Machine Guns, and says they are all brothers and they all have each other's back. Sami then says they lit a fire under Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura speaks in Japanese. Don't really know what he said. Wish I did. Ray Phoenix then says they are ready for next week. So next week on SmackDown, we're going to see Team Sami, which is Sami Zayn, the Motor City Machine Gun, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Ray Phoenix against Team MFT in a traditional Survivor Series elimination 5-on-5 next week on SmackDown. That should be very good. So Fraction then make their way down to the ring for the next match of the night, which is going to be Fraction, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom going up against DIY, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. The match starts off with Axiom tagging in, and they hit a series of kicks and a DDT on Ciampa. They then work over Gargano, and he goes to the floor. Frazier then hits a suicide dive on Ciampa, and Axiom hits one on Gargano. Frazier then hits one on Gargano, and Axiom does the same to Ciampa. Axiom then hits a splash, and Frazier tags in and hits a frog splash for a near fall. Gargano then pulls Ciampa into the corner to make the tag. Gargano then hits a forearm and a punch to Nathan Frazier. Gargano then hits some more punches. Frazier then Axiom then gets a hot tag, and Gargano hits a super kick on Axiom. Ciampa then pulls Frazier to the floor and sends him into the ring steps. Axiom then hits some forearm, but Gargano sends him to a turnbuckle, and Ciampa tags in. They kick Axiom into the corner. Axiom then hits a headbutt to the midsection, and Ciampa hits Axiom and punches him and sends him to the mat. So Tommaso Ciampa then hits a chop and chops him again, and then he hits a slam and a boot to Axiom. Axiom then hits a punch, and Tommaso Ciampa sends it in a side headlock. Axiom then hits a drop kick. Johnny Gargano then gets a hot tag. Frazier then gets a hot tag as well. They hit a double sledge, and he flips Gargano over the turnbuckle. Frazier then hits a running forearm and thrust kick to knock Ciampa off the apron. Nathan Frazier then gets a near fall, almost a near fall on Gargano. Frazier then goes up top for a Phoenix Splash, but Gargano moves and Frazier rolls through. Ciampa then gets the hot tag and hits the Shatter Machine for a near fall. That Shatter Machine has beaten a lot of teams over the years for DIY. Nathan Frazier then flips to his feet, hits a drop kick for a near fall. Ciampa then hits a jumping knee, and Frazier kicks Ciampa. Axiom then tags in, and he goes up top, and Ciampa meets him with a knee. Gargano then tags in. They hit a thrust kick and a fairy tale ending for a near fall. Axiom then hits a thrust kick on Ciampa. Gargano then hits a kick, and they set him up for the Spanish Fly, and they hit the Spanish Fly. Frazier then hits a flip dive on Tommaso Ciampa. Then Axiom goes up top to try to secure the win. Candice LeRae, the wife of the wife of Johnny Gargano, pulls Axiom's mask off, like completely just rips it off, which is an absolute no-no. And Axiom falls to the mat, hides his face. Johnny Gargano gets the 1-2-3 win. That's crazy. Candice LeRae just rips the mask off. We know this is not the last we're gonna see of this matchup. The winners of the match, DIY, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, with the assistance of with Gargano's wife. She actually just Candice LeRae just ripped the mask off Axiom, which basically secured the victory. All right, so then we see Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair sitting in a room. They're just kind of sitting at a table, staring across from each other, not really getting anywhere. Rhea then says, whatever went down between them, it was to prove who was the best. She then says both of them wanted to be the best. She then says they might get back on that in the future, but she is willing to put it all aside for War Games. Rhea then says she has always respected Charlotte, and Rhea then says if she is asked who she would go to war with, she would pick Charlotte Flair. So Rhea making the first effort to, mend the fence for this match. Both of them obviously have mutual respect for each other. They put on probably one of the best women's matches of all time at WrestleMania. Charlotte then stands up and so I'm sorry, I missed a spot. So after she tells her that she respects her, Rhea then says that she asks who she would want to go to war with. She says Charlotte. Charlotte then stands up, and so does Rhea. Charlotte then says yes. She then says Rhea can. Rhea then tells Charlotte that she can trust her too. They both shake hands. We then get a video package looking at John Cena talking about being authentic, highlighted by the moment that led to him connecting better with fans. Just another small little video tribute package to John Cena. One final note about JD McDonough: he will go down in the record book history books. He will go down as the last person pinned by John Cena on a Monday Night Raw, which is a pretty good accomplishment. So we're going to get to the next match of the night, and it is the last first round match and the last time is now tournament with Judgment Day's Ben Balor and Penta. They are on that right side of the bracket under Gunther and Carmelo Hayes now. So the winner of this match will go on to Monday Night Raw to face Solo Sikoa. The match starts off with Ben trying to attack Penta, but Penta hits him with a punch. Ben then hits a double leg takedown. Ben then hits another double leg takedown and a kick. Ben then hits some more punches. Penta then hits a hesitation headstand kick for a near fall. Ben then kicks Penta and then punches him. Penta then sends Ben back into the ring. Penta then hits a chop. Penta then kicks Ben in the back of the leg a few times and sends him to the mat. Ben gets a reversal, hits an Irish whip, and then Penta hits a thrust kick. Penta then goes up to the turnbuckle and sets up for a destroyer off the turnbuckles, but Ben hits a back body drop. Ben then hits a reverse DDT and applies a reverse chin lock. Ben pulls Penta to the mat. So then Finn Balor places Penta on the turnbuckle and Finn hits a punch. And then he climbs to the turnbuckle and Penta also retaliates with some punches. Finn sets up for a superplex, but Penta hits some punches again and a headbutt to send Finn to the mat. This is a back and forth match. This match was really good as well. Penta hits a kick for a near fall. Penta sets up for the Penta driver, but Finn Balor escapes. Penta then sends Finn into the turnbuckle, but Finn hits a GTR for a near fall. That was really close. This was probably my second favorite match of the night. It was really good. So we get back into the swinging thing. Penta hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker and then blocks a kick and hits a modified muscle buster for a 2 7/8. I thought he had him on that. Penta then goes for the sacrifice and hits it. Penta then goes for the Penta driver, but Finn gets a victory roll for a near fall. He almost, I call him Pin Balor instead of Finn Balor. He almost sneaks a lucky win in there with that roll up. And then hits a sling blade and drop kick into the turnbuckle. Penta then hits the La Magistral for a near fall. Penta hits a Penta driver for a near fall. So a lot of near falls. Finn then backs Penta into the corner, but Penta hits the Mexican Destroyer, which looked absolutely phenomenal for the 1, 2, 3. And Penta is doing whatever it takes. The winner of the match and advancing to the quarterfinals and will face Solo Sikoa Monday night is Penta. After the match, we take a look at the brackets, as I've kind of already went over. Rusev on the left. So we have 2, 4. We have 8 people left. We've got 4 people on the left side of the bracket in the quarterfinals, 4 people on the right side of the bracket on the quarterfinals. And I'm about to go over that again. Rusev will face Jey Uso on the top half of the left side of the bracket in the quarterfinals. And right under them on the same side of the bracket, LA Knight does not have an opponent due to a second-round injury suffered by Sheamus. Pierce and Aldis will determine his opponent. Then on the right side of the bracket, on the quarterfinal on top, we have Carmelo Hayes going up against Gunther and Solo Sikoa going up against Penta. So like I said at the beginning, it's really starting to set up for me. It's looking like a Jey Uso or a LA Knight versus Gunther final to see who faces John Cena. We then head to the back where Solo Sikoa says Hayes' night was tonight. He then says Monday, your time is up, and Solo's time is now. He then says next week he is going to make an example of Sammy. Solo then says his 5 against Sammy's 5. Solo then says, do you think you have a chance against them? Solo then says they will put Ray in the dirt. Solo then says they are going to send Shinsuke Nakamura back to Japan. And Solo also says the machine guns don't have enough ammo to take care of the MFT. Solo then says, when it's just you and me, Sammy, I will put you away for good. So like I said, next week, we are going to see the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match on the Go Home show. The night before Survivor Series, we're going to see the MFTs go up against Sami Zayn, the Motor City Machine Guns, Ray Phoenix, and Shinsuke Nakamura in a traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. So we get to the end segment. We see Charlotte Flair come out first, looking like ravishing as always, the Queen, followed by Alexa Bliss, Io Sky out next, and then Rhea Ripley out last. Rhea Ripley absolutely got the biggest pop out of all of them. She is still super over with the fans. It's just crazy. So they all get in the ring. So Rhea gets a mic, and she says, we need to name a 5th member. Rhea, she as soon as she grabbed that mic, the crowd just starts going crazy. So like I said, she's still super over. She then talks about how loud the fans are, and then gets them to the fans got even louder. Rhea's so over it. It's insane everywhere she goes. She then talks about what went down on Raw at MSG and the show of unity between her team. Rhea then says, in moments like those, you find out who's real and who is fake. Ripley then says if she is going to war with someone, she wants to make sure she is going to war with the right people. Rhea then says people like her friend Io Sky, who she knows will go down swinging if it comes down to it. Ripley then says you have Alexa and Charlotte, 2 of the most decorated women in the women's division today. Ripley then says she might not be friends with them, but at the end of the day, she knows they can trust each other. Ripley then says that it's still just 4 people, and at War Games, you need 5. At that point in time, I've already announced it a month ago in another GC chat. All 10 of these superstars are going to be competing. I announced a month ago, but AJ Lee's Music Hits is the 5th member of the face team. As she's starting to walk out, she is attacked by Becky Lynch. Like I said, her music hits, Nia Jax, Asuka, Kairi Sane, attack Alexa, Charlotte, Io, and Rhea. As AJ makes her way to the ring, Becky ambushes AJ. Lash then hits a bicycle kick on Charlotte, while Kairi Sane hits a back fist, and Asuka hits a round kick on Io. Rhea then starts to fight back with a headbutt on Lash. Becky then holds Rhea's leg, and Nia hits the Annihilator on Rhea Ripley in the corner. Becky and Asuka then shake hands as we are going off the air, indicating that she is the 5th member of the Hill team, which I already knew. And that closes this show. So basically, pretty good SmackDown. Obviously, the only thing missing was the mixed tag championship, Chelsea Green's WWE Women's United States, the double champion celebration, because I think Chelsea's under the weather. But yeah, overall, it was a really good SmackDown. We do have that traditional 5-on-5 next week on SmackDown on the go home with Sami Zayn, Shinsuke versus Machine Guns, and Ray Phoenix going up against the MFTs. We know at least 7 of our final 8 in the last time is now tournament. And we will see Solo Sikoa go up against Penta Monday night on Raw, as well as Gunther go up against Carmelo Hayes. And after those 2 matches Monday, that bracket will be down to just 1 match on that side. I'm thinking we're going to see Jey Uso and Rusev, as well as LA Knight, and then his mystery opponent Monday as well too. So I think we're going to get all 4 quarterfinal matches for Raw. For that tournament, I think we're going to get all 4 of them Monday. So look for that. Look for Jey Uso versus Rusev, LA Knight versus a mystery opponent, Gunther versus Carmelo Hayes, and Solo Sikoa going up against Penta. I think we will have all of our quarterfinals set after Monday is what I'm hoping. I know there's going to be at least 2 matches for sure. But yeah, that is the end of the show for me. I want to thank everybody that was watching tonight. Well, it doesn't look like it was very many because, like I said, I don't have my X hooked up. There's also a couple other shows going on right now. Shout out to Miami the Great, the CEO of DWE, the man with the plan. Also, the World of Greg. Appreciate it, Greg, helping me out with videos and retweets and stuff like that. Yeah, I got to get with you, Greg, because I want to try to come up with a new intro and a new outro video for this particular channel, because the one I have was made by other people, and I don't really want to use it anymore. So I want to try to come up with something new. Like, I like it. I like my intro, but obviously I like to come up with something new. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to my outro video, followed by some of the videos made by the World of Greg. And then I will be back to tell you where you can find me on my socials and also what I have coming up this week. So it's a lot, so stay tuned.
CJP's your guy, let's start the show. Tag teams breaking, factions shaking. He's got the scoop on moves they're faking. Belt on the line, dreams on display. The EVP show keeps the drama in play. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Where the heroes rise and the legends grow. CJP brings the shots, you know. The EVP show, it's out of control.
All right, so we're gonna give you guys a little bit of entertaining music and some representation of my channel. If you guys are not sub to the EVP show.
They not like us, they not like us, they not like us. They not like us, they not like us, they not like us.
All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the music. I hope you guys enjoyed the SmackDown recap. I'm so glad to be back. This is the first full week. I'm definitely glad that I've gotten all the cobwebs out. A little bit of nerves Monday, but feels good to be back. Obviously, you can find me on my social. Well, first off, shout out to the World of Greg, Director Red, Final Boss Baby, Miami the Great. Shout out to Gimmick Table Media. They also have a show going on right now. So if you guys are not on, if you are on here, when you get off, go make sure you go give those guys, go give them a follow, a sub. Check out their SmackDown. I don't know what it's called. I think it's something to do with SmackDown. Similar to what I do. A recap of SmackDown. But shout out to Gimmick Table Media as well. You can find me on X at EVPCJP, Instagram at EVPCJP, and most importantly on YouTube at the EVP Show. I am the golden boy of the DWE. So obviously, anything you can find me in the DWE chats. Make sure you follow the World of Greg, Director Red, Final Boss Baby, at Miami the Great. Also, Talk It Up Wrestling. They have a podcast on YouTube, and also they do Talk It Up on X as well. Make sure you check that out. It's always good stuff. So shout out to all those guys. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be back so soon. So definitely shout out to those guys for watching my back. For sure. So what I got coming up tomorrow, at 10 a.m. tomorrow, I am back. I will be on After the Slam podcast at 10 a.m. Eastern. Oh my God, yeah, it's early. EVP's like, oh my God, like got a SmackDown recap. Got to get the pipes rested up. I've been waiting on this for a while. I've been chatting it up with the guy from After the Slam. Really good guy. Definitely give him a follow. Sub to his channel. He does good work. I've been me and him been collabing for a little while on me trying to be able to come onto the show. Obviously, Final Boss Baby was on a few weeks ago. I'll be on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, and Miami will be on, I believe it's December 8th or 9th, with After the Slam podcast. So check me out tomorrow morning. It's on Saturday. It's early. But check me out at 10 a.m. Eastern on After the Slam podcast. I have no idea what we'll be talking about, but I'm sure to be wrestling. I'll probably be dropping some scoops for some people and dropping some gospel for some of you that need that gospel dropped on you. But yeah, I look forward to chopping it up with him, and actually not having to run a show, just being able to answer questions. I love that. So it'll be a break for sure. Later in the day tomorrow, me and Miami the Great will be back for the Miami EVP Parlay show. Don't know the time yet. Haven't gotten that from Miami. Next week, be prepared, guys. This is a lot. Monday, I'm going to be back Monday night, 11 p.m. for my Raw recap. Tuesday, 6 p.m. Me and Miami the Great will be back for the NFL Week 12 recap. Tuesday night, I will be back at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for my NXT Week 2. Richard Bug, what's going on? Ayo, what's good? Not much, man. How's it going? Tuesday night, I'll be back at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the NXT Gold Rush Week 2. Okay, so Wednesday night, I think tentatively 7 p.m. because I'm not going to do it Thursday because it's Thanksgiving. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. I will be doing my Survivor Series prediction show. I think Miami said Reg and Greg were going to be on. Could be Miami Great and Final Boss Baby as well. I can hold up to 10, so we'll see. I know I'll have at least a couple of them on for the prediction. So I think it'll either be 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Eastern Wednesday, and then Saturday night, Friday night, obviously I'll be back for SmackDown recap, 10:30, same time, same place. And then Saturday night after Survivor Series, I will be live 30 minutes after the PLE goes off for my Survivor Series recap. So big week next week. Lot of content, a lot of stuff coming you guys' way. Look forward to it. So that being said, thank you guys for showing up tonight. Shout out to Miami the Great, World of Greg, and shout out Retro Bug who just showed up, and shout out to DWE, Final Boss Baby, Miami the Great, World of Greg, Director Reg, and shout out to Gimmick Table Media. That being said, I am the EVP, the golden boy of DWE, and I am out, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. You guys better be there. I will be on After the Slam podcast, 10 a.m. Eastern, EVP on the After Slam podcast tomorrow. EVP out. You guys have a good one. Enjoy your Friday night.